Welcome to Talking Climate with Katherine Hayhoe. Each episode, we explore how climate change is affecting the people, places, and things we love, and what we can do to make a difference. From science to solutions and stories that inspire, you're in the right place for real talk about real change. This week, we're talking about greener nickel production, the new highs reached by the atmospheric CO2 levels, and leasing land for renewable energy. Let's dive in. Good news. Nickel is used to create all kinds of clean energy technology, from stainless steel alloys for wind turbines to the cathodes in the lithium-ion batteries that power electric vehicles. Driven in part by the clean energy transition, global demand for nickel is expected to double by 2040. But nickel production has a massive carbon footprint, releasing up to 40 tons of CO2 for every ton of nickel refined. Without new, cleaner ways to meet this demand, we risk undermining the very goals we're trying to achieve. I've written before about potential solutions such as the phytomining project in Albania that grows and harvests nickel-accumulating flowers. But now, researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Sustainable Materials in Germany have discovered another new, low-carbon way to source this valuable metal using hydrogen plasma instead of cold-derived coke to extract nickel from ore. This new process reduces carbon pollution by 84% and uses 18% less energy. Even better, the leftover materials from the process can be repurposed to make bricks, reducing waste. This method isn't ready for full-scale industrial use yet, and scaling it up will bring its own challenges. But the fact that it can be done represents a huge step forward. One of the study's authors, Ubaid Manzoor, says, "What we did here is prove that the science works." This breakthrough is a good reminder that climate solutions aren't only about using less, they're also about doing things differently. Thanks to science, new discoveries are being made all the time that can cut emissions, reduce energy use, turn industrial waste into building materials, and help us build a better world. Not so good news. For the first time in human history, and a lot further back than that, atmospheric CO2 levels at the Mauna Loa Observatory have topped 430 parts per million. Another year, another record, said my colleague Ralph Keeling, director of the Scribs CO2 program and son of Charles Keeling, who began tracking these numbers back in 1958. That original record, known as the Keeling curve, has become the gold standard for understanding how human activity is altering the chemistry of our atmosphere. Why does this matter? Because CO2 is the biggest cause of climate change. It's responsible for about 65% of the observed warming that's driving the climate disruptions we're already seeing, like longer and deadlier heat waves, extended droughts, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels. Higher CO2 levels are also changing the chemistry of our oceans, making it more acidic and harder for coral reefs and shellfish to survive. While Mauna Loa is just one monitoring site, it serves as a global benchmark. And this latest milestone underscores how far we still have to go to reduce emissions. Every fraction of a degree we avoid through emissions cuts translates to less risk, less suffering, and more hope for a livable future. What you can do. About 6 months ago, I shared a story about a man who convinced his very politically conservative family to lease their land out to a renewable energy company, a decision I hear is going very well. So this week, I wanted to ask if you or someone in your family or an organization you know or work with owns land where you could do the same. Leasing land for solar or wind energy can be a win-win. It helps accelerate the transition to renewables and provides a new source of stable income for landowners. Many people don't realize they might qualify, or they've heard rumors and false information that simply aren't true. Here are some steps to help get started. Number 1, find out if your land qualifies. You don't need hundreds of acres or perfect sun exposure to make leasing a viable option. Solar developers often look for flat, open land between 5 and more than 100 acres that's not heavily shaded and is within a few miles of power infrastructure like substations or power lines. Even if you live in a cloudy or cold region, your land might still be a viable site for renewable placement. Solar panels work efficiently in cooler climates, and developers can help assess your land's potential based on local conditions. Number 2, don't fall for the myths. Some people worry that leasing land for solar or wind will ruin their soil, harm wildlife, or lower property values. But that's not the case. Most leases are long-term agreements that protect landowner rights, offer steady income, and allow for land restoration at the end of the lease. Solar grazing and pollinator-friendly plants can even improve biodiversity on these parcels of land. In parts of the EU, nature-inclusive solar parks are taking off, designed to boost both clean energy and local ecosystems. Number 3, talk to a reputable developer. If you think your land might qualify and you're interested in learning more, the next step is to reach out to a trusted renewable energy developer. They'll evaluate your site and walk you through contract terms. But it's always a good idea to get independent legal advice before signing anything, and this newsletter does not provide that. Leasing land for renewable energy is a business decision and a climate solution. It helps reduce dependence on fossil fuels, stabilizes the grid, and brings clean energy projects closer to the communities that need them most. Thanks for listening to Talking Climate, narrated by Ann Cloud. For more resources, links, and actions you can take, check out the full newsletter at www.talkingclimate.ca. Remember to make climate a part of everyday talk. Start the conversation. You never know who you'll inspire.